Okay, guys, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Ryan Garcia v Rolly Romero, the main event from the Times Square match, and basically talk about what happened in that fight and what's next for both guys. Now, Rolly Romero was successful in the fight. He won the fight pretty pretty dominantly, I'd say. It was competitive. Ryan Garcia definitely had some moments, but for the most part, Romero was clearly the stronger fighter in there, and perhaps even technically at times more sound as well, where Rolly was able to slip a lot of Ryan Garcia's jabs, get inside and clinch. Um, Rolly Romero boxed pretty well, but overall, it really wasn't a good performance from Ryan Garcia, particularly if you're looking at the odds as well, where Ryan Garcia was a quite a heavy favourite for this fight, and rightfully so, coming off that performance against Devin Haney, where if you was to believe what you heard in the media, Ryan Garcia really didn't train that hard for that fight, but pretty much mollywopped Devin Haney in that fight. Of course, he was smoking and drinking and tested positive for roids for that fight, so it was a no contest. But coming into this Rolly fight, you're thinking, okay, if we see the same sort of Ryan Garcia that mollywopped Devin Haney, then this should be a somewhat routine win for Ryan Garcia here. But it was anything from that. Rolly even dropped Ryan Garcia early in the fight. It was a bit of a flash knockdown. It looks like Ryan Garcia was able to recover for the most part. Ryan Garcia, as we all know, is very quick with his hands. Didn't seem to really be throwing punches in bunches like he normally does. Was seemingly more trying to pot shot and just throw one punch at a time. And particularly when you're a guy like Ryan Garcia, who's only, to be honest, he's only really got one punch. It's that left hook, right? And when you're throwing that left hook and you're either missing, not throwing it, or when you are throwing it and it's landing, Rolly's just eating it. It's always going to be a tough night for him, particularly when you got dropped early in the fight as well. But a really good performance from Rolly. Arguably, one of the best performances of his career, if we're being honest, because Rolly's career to date, he's faced a couple of really high level guys in terms of Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz, and he lost to both of those guys. Right? He lost to both of those guys. So you're looking at his resume, you're like, Ryan Garcia, who's only lost this to Javante Davis, and coming off the performance where he mollywopped Devin Haney against the guy who, yes, lost to Tank Davis like himself, but also lost to Isaac Cruz. You're thinking, well, Ryan Garcia is another world class opponent. He'll probably lose to him as well, and he didn't. Rolly Romero, got a lot of respect from me, earned me over as a fan for him. I mean, I was a fan of Rolly before, but like I said, he sort of had that reputation to me where he fought Tank, lost, fought Isaac Cruz, lost. You know, maybe he's not gonna be one of these super high level world level guys like your Tank Davises, like your Devin Haney's, etc. But he beat Ryan Garcia, something that only Tank has been able to do. The only other person to beat Ryan Garcia is now Rolly Romero. So that's a huge name for Rolly's resume, probably the biggest name on his resume. Whereas, a guy like Ryan Garcia now, you're thinking, where does he go from here? I think immediately people are thinking that the Devin Haney rematch is off the table. That's definitely not going to be off the table. It's a situation where probably a bit like Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, where that's still definitely a big fight, but it's nowhere near as big as it would have been either an immediate rematch or if Brian Garcia was able to win this fight. He wasn't, unfortunately. So the division's in a bit of an interesting situation. But like I said, I think Ryan Garcia, that fight's not off the table. The rematch against Devin Haney's not off the table, and that fight could definitely happen, just not as big, unless Ryan Garcia is able to get another win under his belt. But even then, at this point, that's the thing with boxing. He could go and fight someone decent, and even if he beats him, bro, you lost to Rolly. You lost to Rolly Romero. Okay, it's nice you got that win back. You got a win against someone else, but you still lost to Rolly. That's boxing, and to be fair, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Almost in MMA, where it's gone the opposite, where almost in my opinion, where losses don't really even matter at all because you're like, well, this guy's still good. No, bro, you lost. You lost the fight. You deserve to be, further down the pecking order now. Right? So that's almost in my opinion where boxing's got it right. Where, I don't agree with the guys losing the undefeated record and they're worthless. I don't agree with that completely. But, if you lose a fight, come on, you're a bit further down the pecking order now, naturally, right? But yeah, bad performance from Ryan Garcia. To be fair, bad performances from both guys. And I've made a video about Devin Haney, and that'll probably be coming out first. But Devin Haney's performance wasn't particularly good, and Ryan Garcia's performance wasn't particularly good. At least Devin Haney was able to win his fight. Ryan Garcia wasn't able to win his. But like I said, the division's super interesting. It was a really interesting event in terms of what it means for the divisions at super lightweight. I think, you know, it could have been the two fights that I've spoken about so far could have been more entertaining, of course. Particularly the Devin Haney fight, but I've talked about that in a separate video. But this fight was okay. It wasn't anything special. Probably not one I'm going to rewatch out of the fun of it. If I do rewatch it, it'll probably be for like a Ryan Garcia or a Rolly video if I make one in the future. But like I said, definitely won't be watching this fight for the fun of it. But a good performance for Rolly Romero and the best win of his career. But yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag. Let me know what you thought of that fight and what do you think next for Ryan Garcia and Rolly as well. Yeah, I'm out. Peace.